All right, gearing up for a trade development officer interview, huh? Talk about a career with global impact. We've got your deep dives right here, pulling the best from RoleCatcher's guides and even their AI tools. Think of this as your cheat sheet to not only answer questions, but really get what those interviewers are looking for.
You know what's fascinating about RoleCatcher? It doesn't just tell you about the job.
Right.
It gives you the strategies to actually land it. They even use AI to help tailor your application and answers to each specific company. That's a game changer.
Okay, so first things first. What exactly is a trade development officer? It's more than just trade, right?
Right. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that multifaceted nature of this role. You're looking at policy, both domestic and international, analyzing market trends, even protecting businesses from things like unfair subsidies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which are called trade distortions. It's a mix of economics, diplomacy, and serious strategic thinking.
Sounds intense. But also, did someone say potential travel opportunities? Because this role might just have you jet-setting around the globe.
Oh, yeah.
Attending trade shows, building relationships with international partners. Talk about a chance to broaden your horizons.
Definitely. But RoleCatcher is also upfront about the demanding side. Long hours, high-pressure situations, constant need to stay updated. This isn't a job for the faint of heart, but for the right person, it's incredibly rewarding.
So for those who are the right person, let's talk strategy. RoleCatcher's AI is like having a secret weapon in your back pocket, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Imagine this, you're applying for a specific job, and this AI analyzes the description to tell you exactly which skills and keywords to emphasize. It's like having a personalized career coach helping you put your best foot forward.
No more generic resumes. It's all about tailoring your application to each opportunity. And get this, the AI even gives feedback on your interview answers, helping you refine what you say and how you say it.
Exactly. It's like a mock interview with an expert who can pinpoint areas for improvement. But remember, it's not about memorizing responses. It's about understanding what makes a good answer and delivering it with confidence.
Okay, so enough about the awesome AI. Though it is tempting to geek out about it all day, let's dive into the heart of interview prep. Those make-or-break questions. RoleCatcher lays out some common ones for trade development officer roles. We're going to break each one down, giving you the inside scoop on how to nail your response.
And remember, it's not just about the answer itself.
Right.
It's about understanding what the interviewers are truly trying to assess. What skills are they testing? What qualities are they looking for? That's the key to crafting responses that truly resonate.
All right, question number 1. Can you tell us about your experience in developing and implementing trade strategies? This one sounds pretty straightforward, but I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
Definitely. What's crucial here is showcasing your strategic thinking and your ability to take action. Don't just list your past jobs. Instead, pick a specific example of a trade strategy you developed, taking the interviewer through the process from the initial idea to the results you achieved.
So it's all about showing, not telling. Walk them through your thought process. Did you identify an untapped market? Did you negotiate a tricky trade agreement? Give them those details that paint a vivid picture of your capabilities.
Exactly. And don't forget to connect it back to the role at hand.
Right.
How does your experience align with the specific responsibilities and challenges of this particular position?
So you might say something like, in my previous role, I saw potential for growth in the product service market in the region. I did market research, found potential partners, and created a comprehensive entry strategy. The result, we launched successfully, exceeding our initial sales goals by percentage. It's like telling a mini success story, right?
Exactly, and be ready for follow-up questions.
Right.
The interviewer might ask about the obstacles you faced, how you overcame them, or what you learned from the experience.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. How do you manage relationships with key stakeholders in the trade industry? This sounds like it's all about your people skills.
It is. Remember, trade development officers work with a ton of different people. Government agencies, businesses, international organizations. You need to show you can build rapport, communicate effectively, and handle those complex relationships.
So instead of just listing everyone you've worked with, how do you actually show those relationship building skills?
Focus on your approach.
Okay.
How do you build and maintain those connections? What's your communication style? How do you handle disagreements?
Right.
Specific examples are key here.
So talk about a time you had to work with a difficult partner.
Yes.
Or negotiate a tough agreement. How did you approach the situation? What made you successful?
Exactly. And if you've worked internationally, highlight your cultural sensitivity. The interviewer wants to see you can navigate different cultural norms and build trust across borders. This is where those potential travel opportunities we talked about earlier could really come in handy.
Okay, on to question number 3. Can you describe your experience in conducting market research? Time to bring on those analytical skills.
Right. Here they want to see that you can gather, analyze, and interpret data to make smart decisions. Focus on your methodology, the tools you use, and most importantly, the insights you've gained from your research.
So don't just say, I'm good at market research. Prove it. Walk them through a specific research project. What were your objectives? What did you discover? And crucially, how did your findings lead to action?
Exactly. And be ready to discuss your experience with different types of market research,
Okay?
both quantitative and qualitative. The more diverse your experience, the better.
For example, you could say, I was tasked with finding new markets for our product service. I used industry reports, competitor analysis, and customer surveys to understand the landscape. My research revealed a growing demand for product service in region. Based on this, I recommended we expand there, and my recommendations were adopted by the company. See how that paints a clear picture?
Perfect. And be prepared for them to dig deeper. They might ask about the challenges you encountered during the research process or how you ensured the accuracy of your data.
Okay, question number 4 is all about continuous learning. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and changes? In a field like international trade, things are constantly evolving, right?
Absolutely. It's a fast-paced environment, and you need to show you're actively staying informed about new developments, trends, and challenges. RoleCatcher really emphasizes this.
So more than just listing trade publications you read, how do you show that dedication to staying ahead of the curve?
Focus on the how and the why.
Okay.
What are your go-to sources of information? How often do you engage with them? And most importantly, how do you apply that knowledge to your work?
So you might say, I make it a priority to stay informed. I regularly read publications like Trade Publication 1 and Trade Publication 2, attend industry conferences and webinars, and engage in online forums to learn from experts and peers. I recently learned about key trend at a conference and have been incorporating this knowledge into my current project where we're exploring Action Show. You're not just reading, you're applying that knowledge.
Exactly. That's the key, connecting your learning to real-world application. The interviewer wants to see that you're not just passively absorbing information, you're actively using it to improve your work.
All right, ready for question number 5.
Hit me.
It's a bit of a curveball. Can you describe a time when you had to negotiate a deal with a difficult partner? Now we're getting into conflict resolution territory.
This one's all about handling challenging situations, keeping your cool under pressure, and finding solutions that work for everyone. RoleCatcher has some good tips on this.
So no sugarcoating or avoiding the question. They want to see how you handle those tough moments. What's the best way to approach this one?
Choose an example where you faced a genuine challenge but ultimately found a solution. Walk them through the situation, the specific difficulties, your strategies, and the resolution.
And don't forget those valuable lessons learned. What did you discover about yourself? Negotiation or working with different personalities? It shows you're reflective and always striving to improve. For example, you could say, I was negotiating a trade agreement with a partner who had a very different style. They were extremely assertive and took a hard line. To bridge the gap, I focused on building rapport, listening to their concerns, and finding common ground. We eventually reached a mutually beneficial agreement, and I learned the importance of flexibility and adaptability in negotiation. It's about turning that challenge into a learning experience.
Exactly. They're not expecting you to be perfect, but they're looking for someone who can learn and grow from those difficult situations.
Okay, let's move on to question number 6. Can you describe your experience in developing and managing trade promotions? This sounds like a blend of marketing savvy and project management skills.
It is. This is where you get to showcase your creativity, your understanding of target markets, and your ability to create effective promotional campaigns. Be ready to discuss your experience with different types of promotions, from trade shows and webinars to social media campaigns.
Again, it's about showing, not telling. Don't just say, I'm good at marketing. Walk them through a specific trade promotion you spearheaded. What were your goals? What strategies did you use? How did you measure success? And of course, what were the results?
Exactly. And just like with the other questions, be prepared to discuss challenges, how you overcame them, and what you learned along the way.
Right.
This shows you're adaptable and always looking for ways to improve.
For instance, you might say, in my previous role, I was tasked with boosting awareness of our new product line among international buyers. I created a multifaceted campaign that included attending trade shows, hosting webinars, and leveraging social media. We tracked key metrics like website traffic, lead generation, and sales conversions to see how we were doing. As a result, we saw a significant jump in international inquiries and closed several key deals. It's about painting a picture of that campaign and its impact.
Perfectly said. And be prepared to discuss your thought process behind choosing specific promotional channels, how you tailored your message to different audiences, and how you measured the return on investment, ROI, of your efforts.
Okay, we're making good progress. On to question number 7. Can you describe your experience in working with international trade partners? Here's where those global skills we talked about really shine.
Absolutely. This question is all about gauging your ability to navigate cultural differences, build relationships across borders, and grasp the nuances of international trade.
So what are the key points to emphasize when answering this question?
Focus on specific examples of your collaborations with international partners. Mention the countries you've worked with, the types of projects you collaborated on, and the challenges you overcame.
And don't forget to highlight your cultural sensitivity and effective communication across cultures. Remember those potential travel opportunities. This is where your experiences exploring different cultures can be a real asset.
Right. You could say something like, in my previous role, I worked closely with partners in Country 1 and Country 2 to develop a new supply chain strategy. I learned that there were significant cultural differences in communication styles, decision-making processes, and business etiquette. By respecting these differences and adapting my approach, I built strong relationships with my colleagues and contributed to the project's success. It's about showing you can thrive in a global environment.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It shows you're not just aware of cultural differences, but actively adapt your approach to build trust and achieve common goals.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're right in the thick of prepping you for that trade development officer interview.
And we're not letting up. We've got more of those insightful questions from RoleCatcher, the ones that really separate the candidates who just answer from those who understand what the interviewers are looking for.
That's the key, isn't it? It's like RoleCatcher says you're not just presenting your experience, you're telling a story that showcases how you think, how you solve problems, and how you add value.
All right, let's jump back in with question number 8. Can you describe your experience in developing and executing new product launches? This one sounds like a chance to showcase your strategic thinking, creativity, and project management skills all in one go.
It is. Think of this as an opportunity to demonstrate your understanding of the entire product development lifecycle, from the initial idea to the market launch and beyond.
So how do you structure your answer to really make an impact?
Pick a product launch where you played a key role. Take the interviewer step by step through the process, highlighting your contributions and the results you achieved.
And don't get bogged down in technical details. Focus on the big picture, your understanding of the target market, your ability to craft a compelling message, and your skills in coordinating teams and resources.
Exactly. For example, you could say, in my previous role, I spearheaded the launch of a new software platform for the industry sector. I started by conducting thorough market research to pinpoint the needs and pain points of our target customers. Then I elaborated with the product development team to ensure the software addressed those needs. Finally, I developed a comprehensive marketing plan that included online ads, social media campaigns, and content marketing. The result? We exceeded our first quarter sales goals and received overwhelmingly positive feedback from our customers.
Now that's what I call a comprehensive answer. It covers every stage of the launch and showcases your strategic vision and execution skills.
And it highlights your ability to translate market research into a tangible product and a successful launch strategy.
All right, on to question number 9. How do you prioritize and manage multiple projects simultaneously? This is a classic for a reason. It's all about showing you can handle a whirlwind of responsibilities that come with a dynamic role like this.
Exactly. In the world of international trade, things move fast, and you need to demonstrate that you can juggle multiple priorities, meet deadlines, and maintain a high standard of work all at the same time.
So how do you convince them you're up to the task?
Be specific and give concrete examples. Don't just say, I'm good at multitasking. Walk them through your process. How do you prioritize your to-do list? What tools do you use to stay organized and manage your time effectively?
For example, you might say, I use a combination of approaches to manage my workload. I start by prioritizing my tasks using project management software to keep track of deadlines and progress. I break down big projects into smaller, more manageable chunks, and I schedule dedicated blocks of time to focus on each one. I also delegate tasks when appropriate and make sure to communicate regularly with my team to keep everyone on track. This system has helped me consistently deliver high-quality work on time and within budget.
That's a great response. It shows you have a system, you're proactive, and you're results-oriented.
Speaking of being results-oriented, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI for a second. This tool can actually help you practice these interview answers and get feedback right.
Absolutely. Imagine practicing your response to a question like, Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult situation, and getting personalized feedback on your content, your delivery, even your tone of voice. That's what RoleCatcher's AI can do.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Mm.
Okay, back to the questions. Number 10 is one that makes a lot of people nervous. What are your salary expectations? It's such a delicate dance, isn't it?
It is, but RoleCatcher provides some excellent advice on how to navigate this conversation. The key is research. Understand the average salary range for trade development officer positions in your location, and industry websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com can be very helpful for this.
Don't forget to factor in your experience, your skills, and the specific responsibilities of the role. Once you have a solid understanding of the market rate, you can confidently articulate your expectations.
Exactly. And remember, it's a negotiation. Be prepared to discuss your value and why you deserve a certain salary. You might say something like, based on my research and experience, and mention your relevant skills and experience, I'm looking for a salary in the range of state your range. However, I'm open to discussing this further depending on the specific responsibilities and growth opportunities of the role.
That's a great way to approach it. Informed, confident, and open to discussion.
Now let's move on to question number 11. Why are you interested in this particular role? This might seem simple, but it's a chance to showcase your passion for the company and its mission.
So go beyond just browsing their website. Really dig into their recent news, social media, and industry reputation. Figure out what genuinely excites you about this company and this specific role.
Right. It's about demonstrating that you've done your homework and you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for this job. You might say, I've been following company names work in industry for a while, and I'm impressed by their commitment to company value 1 and company value 2. This role particularly excites me because it aligns with my passion for area of expertise and my experience in relevant skill 1 and relevant skill 2. I believe I can contribute to your team by specific contribution you can make.
That kind of answer shows you've put in the effort to understand their culture and goals.
And remember, it's a two-way street. It's about what you can bring to the table and how your skills and values mesh with theirs.
Okay, on to question number 12. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This one can be tricky because you don't want to sound overly scripted or unrealistic, right?
That's right. It's about showing ambition while also being adaptable. Express your desire to learn, grow, and contribute to the company's success, but acknowledge that the future is always evolving.
So instead of laying out a rigid 5-year plan, you might say, in 5 years, I see myself as a valuable member of the company name team making significant contributions in area of interest. I'm excited to keep developing my skills in Skill 1 and Skill 2, and I'm open to taking on new challenges as I grow with the company. My ultimate goal is to become a trusted advisor and a key player in driving the company's international trade success. It's about showing ambition and a growth mindset.
Exactly. It's about aligning your aspirations with the company's long-term vision.
All right, question number 13 is another classic. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This one always feels like walking a tightrope. You want to showcase your strengths without sounding arrogant, but also acknowledge areas for improvement without shooting yourself in the foot.
It's a balancing act for sure. When talking about your strengths, choose qualities that are directly relevant to the role and back them up with solid examples. Don't just throw out generic adjectives, give them specific instances where you've demonstrated those strengths in action.
For instance, you might say, one of my key strengths is building strong relationships with clients and partners. For example, in my previous role, I successfully negotiated a major trade agreement with a challenging partner by building rapport, actively listening to their concerns, and finding creative solutions that benefited both parties. That's a strength that speaks directly to the role of a trade development officer.
Perfect. You've connected a strength to a tangible achievement.
Now for the weaknesses part. I know there's a temptation to disguise a strength as a weakness, like saying, I work too hard or I'm a perfectionist. But those usually fall flat, don't they?
They do. It's much better to be authentic and choose a genuine weakness, but one that you're actively working to improve.
So you might say, I'm continuously working on my public speaking skills. I've been taking workshops and practicing presentations to become more confident and articulate in front of an audience. I've already seen progress, and I'm dedicated to further improving this skill.
That shows self-awareness and a commitment to growth, which are very valuable qualities. Speaking of valuable qualities, let's briefly touch on how RoleCatcher's AI can be a real asset in prepping for these tricky strengths and weaknesses questions.
Oh, good point. I almost forgot. So how can the AI help with this one?
Imagine having a tool that analyzes your answers not just for content, but for how you come across. The AI can actually pick up on things like tone of voice and word choice to help you present your strengths confidently and frame your weaknesses in a positive light.
That's amazing. It's like having an AI communication coach right there with you.
Hmm.
Get back to our list. Question number 14 is all about your driving force. What motivates you? This one's getting to the heart of what makes you tick.
It is. It's your chance to showcase your passion, your work ethic, and what truly inspires you to excel. Think about what gets you out of bed in the morning, what challenges you embrace, and what rewards you find most fulfilling.
And while money and success might be factors, they're not going to impress an interviewer looking for someone who's genuinely passionate about the work.
What are some better ways to answer this question?
Focus on those intrinsic motivators that align with the company's mission and the role's responsibilities. For instance, you might say, I'm driven by a desire to make a positive impact on the world through international trade. I'm fascinated by how interconnected global markets are and how trade can boost economic growth and cultural exchange. I'm also motivated by the challenge of solving complex problems and finding creative solutions that benefit everyone involved. It's about connecting your personal drive to the bigger picture.
That's a great way to show that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a purpose. Okay, on to question number 15. Can you describe a time when you had to deal with a challenging situation at work? Another behavioral question designed to assess your problem-solving skills and resilience. Right. This is your opportunity to show you can think on your feet, adapt to unexpected challenges, and find creative solutions. Choose an example relevant to the Trade Development Officer role and highlight your strengths.
So how do we structure this answer for maximum impact?
Start by setting the scene. Briefly describe the situation, who was involved, and what was at stake.
Then walk them through the steps you took to address the challenge. Highlight your thought process, your decision-making, and the actions you took to mitigate the problem and achieve a positive outcome.
And don't forget those valuable lessons learned. What insights did you gain from that experience? It shows you're reflective and committed to continuous improvement.
For example, you might say, in a previous role, I was managing a major export shipment to a new market. We encountered unexpected delays because of customs regulations, and there was a risk of the shipment being held up indefinitely. I immediately researched the regulations, contacted the relevant authorities, and worked closely with our logistics partner to resolve the issue and expedite the shipment. We managed to get the shipment delivered on time, and I learned valuable lessons about proactive communication, thorough planning, and adaptability in international trade. It's a story that demonstrates problem-solving initiative and resilience.
Exactly. It's a clear example of how you faced a challenge head-on and found a solution.
All right, we've tackled some tough questions in this round. Let's take a quick breather and shift gears for a moment. Remember all that talk about continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve in international trade? Well, RoleCatcher has some great insights on building a successful career in this field.
They do. And it's not just about landing the job, it's about what comes next. Let's dive into some of those career insights.
Sounds good to me. We'll be back in a flash with more expert advice from RoleCatcher on building a thriving career in international trade. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Deep Dive for the final stretch of your Trade Development Officer interview prep. We're pulling these insights straight from RoleCatcher's guides. They're like a cheat sheet for navigating the interview process and beyond.
Absolutely. We're not just talking about answering questions. We're talking about understanding the career landscape, the skills that are most valued, and how you can position yourself for success in the long run.
Okay, let's dive back into those must-know interview questions from RoleCatcher. Question number 16 asks, what are your greatest accomplishments? Now, this is your time to shine a chance to share those moments where you went above and beyond and made a real impact.
This is where you get to showcase your leadership, your problem-solving skills, your ability to negotiate those tricky trade deals, and your deep understanding of the international market.
So instead of just listing achievements, how do you really make them stand out?
Focus on accomplishments that directly relate to the role.
Right.
And highlight the skills that are most important for a trade development officer. And don't just state what you did, quantify it. Use numbers to demonstrate the impact of your work. Did you increase sales? Expand into a new market? Negotiate a favorable trade agreement? Let those numbers speak for themselves.
It's like saying, I didn't just participate, I made a difference, and here's the proof. So you might say, one of my greatest accomplishments was spearheading a new export strategy for my company. I conducted extensive market research, identified target markets, and developed a comprehensive plan that included marketing, logistics, and distribution strategies. As a result, we saw a 25% increase in export sales within the first year, surpassing our initial projections.
That's a fantastic example. It shows you took initiative, you developed a strategic plan, and you delivered tangible results. That's the kind of story that will impress any interviewer.
Okay, on to question 17. How do you handle stress and pressure? Given the fast-paced, often unpredictable nature of international trade, I bet interviewers want to know you can handle the heat.
Absolutely. They're looking for someone who can stay calm under pressure,
Right.
make sound decisions, and maintain their focus even when things get tough.
So instead of just saying, I thrive under pressure, how do you demonstrate this ability with real-world examples?
Think about specific situations where you successfully manage stressful situations.
Right.
What strategies did you use to stay organized, prioritize tasks, and maintain a positive outlook? Share those stories.
For example, you might say, I understand that this role can be demanding, but I'm confident in my ability to handle pressure effectively. I'm a highly organized and efficient person who thrives in fast-paced environments. I prioritize my tasks, carefully delegate when appropriate, and communicate openly with my team to ensure we're all on the same page. When faced with a challenge, I take a deep breath, assess the situation calmly, and develop a plan of action to address the issue head-on. It's about showing you have a system, you're proactive, and you don't crumble under pressure.
Exactly.
It demonstrates self-awareness, a problem-solving mindset, and a healthy approach to stress management. Okay, let's tackle question 18. What are your interests outside of work? This might seem like a casual question, but I bet it's more than just small talk, right?
It is. It's a chance for interviewers to get a sense of your personality, your passions, and how you might fit into their company culture. Choose interests that reflect your values and highlight qualities that are relevant to the job.
So instead of just rattling off generic hobbies, think about how your interests connect to the skills and values of a trade development officer. If you're passionate about international travel, you might mention that you've experienced various cultures firsthand, demonstrating your global mindset and adaptability.
Exactly. And if you're involved in volunteer work related to international development or fair trade practices, that's another great example. It shows you're passionate about making a positive impact on the world.
It's all about connecting the dots between your personal interests and your professional aspirations.
Right. It's about showcasing your well-roundedness and demonstrating that you're not just a candidate for a job, you're a potential asset to their team.
All right, on to question 19, and this one's crucial. Do you have any questions for us? This is your chance to turn the tables, show you're engaged, and gather valuable information.
Don't waste this opportunity by asking questions that can be easily answered with a quick Google search. This is your time to demonstrate your genuine interest in the company, the industry, and the role itself.
So what kind of questions will make them sit up and take notice?
Ask questions that show you've thought critically about their business and the challenges they face.
Okay.
You might ask, what are the company's key strategic priorities for the next year? Or what are the biggest hurdles facing the international trade industry right now, and how is your company addressing them?
Those are great examples. They show you're thinking about the big picture and looking for ways to contribute to their success.
You could also ask about the company culture, professional development opportunities, or the team dynamics. These questions demonstrate your interest in the work environment and your desire to grow within the company.
And remember, actively listen to their answers and ask follow-up questions to show you're truly engaged in the conversation.
Speaking of engagement, let's loop back to RoleCatcher's AI for a moment. This tool isn't just about prepping your answers, it's about refining them, right?
It's about taking those good answers and making them great. So how does the AI help with this final stage of preparation?
Imagine having a tool that analyzes your responses and suggests specific ways to improve them. Maybe you need to strengthen your opening statement, provide more concrete examples, or adjust your tone of voice to sound more confident. RoleCatcher's AI can provide that level of detailed feedback, helping you fine-tune your delivery and ensure your message resonates.
It's like having a personal editor for your interview answers. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here. We've explored the role of a trade development officer, tackled those tough interview questions with the help of RoleCatcher's expert insights, and even learned how AI can be a game changer in the job search process.
But ultimately, the key to success lies in your preparation, your passion, and your ability to showcase your unique skills and experiences.
So to our listener who's gearing up for that interview, you've got this. Remember those insights. Practice your answers and let your enthusiasm shine through. We're rooting for you.
And remember, this is just the beginning. A career in international trade is full of exciting opportunities for growth and impact. So go out there and make your mark on the world.
And hey, if you land that dream job, come back and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your success story.